Flimsy Windows Creative. Julian Phillips with Tom Luong. The Cobalt Migration is an every-week science fiction adventure on Facebook and YouTube. From downtown Pleasant, California. September 10, 2018. All rights reserved. Please enjoy. Chapter 12. Charles Lincoln seemed to be sleeping, but he was not. World was. World it was. World was world. A world when. A world where it was, as if it was as it was. World, and why, world was. Then world was not. Strange song or chanting ritual in his mind of dreams, an inner narrator ego separation into himself, a fragment of himself, hypnotized, in a trance. It's not uncommon at all, said the man there with him, Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Smith, a medical doctor or MD, and also a member of the secret space program, known as the Jack Killer team. Charles Lincoln was also part of one of those teams, organized in secret as part of a decades-old clandestine U.S. Air Force and world government program to train skilled pilots for duty in near-orbit Earth. And even far beyond Earth, and even far beyond Earth, and even far beyond Earth, and even far beyond Earth. Hypnotic regression to search the human mind for missing memories and relieve trauma is a very real therapy. Never fear? I realize that, Charles replied. Smith was the medical doctor on his team. There were by then several teams, the so-called Space Force.
I wanna feel you them big ass thighs. Your Prada dress or your Gucci bag, whether polo jeans or a doobie bag. You hold the door, alright? We coming through, try deep.
Charles and Smith were both part of the Jack Killer team, along with Cynthia May, Ron Davidson, the Pentagon's Commander James Anderson, and the others. The various teams seldom interacted or even knew each other. Charles found himself waking to full consciousness from the previous session. Dr. Smith was nearby his hospital, was then obviously a patient of some kind. This was at an undisclosed medical facility, in a private room, probably at one of the closed-down Milide, where Corso found himself that day there on his back. The bed was tilted upwards halfway, for his comfort, and he wore a surgery smock. Small electrodes were attached to his chest and points on his cranium. He was then obviously a patient of some kind. This was at an undisclosed medical facility, in a private room, probably at one of the closed-down military bases. That's what they did to my mother, he added. Hypnotic regression. Smith was looking over a computer display showing some of Charles' vital signs and brain energy waves. Yes, I know, he said. I looked at Nabu's case, the alien abduction she claimed had happened. 1945, Hiroshima, just before the atom bomb. Later married to your father, Philip. Then relocated to New Mexico, I believe. My mother needed therapy for 10 years afterwards to deal with what had happened to her, Charles Lincoln said. He shifted his body up in the bed by his elbow, then managed to pull back the small plastic curtain blocking out the daylight at a window to one side. She suffered hypnotic regression sessions just like this one, for at least 10 years. Then I guess they finally gave up. No one would ever really know if her story was true or not. I always wondered if the doctors really cared how she was feeling, or just wanted to pump her for information about something so extraordinary. Anthony Smith was a less than athletic type, not one of the perfect physical hunks the Air Force usually employed as jet pilots, or to pilot other aircraft. For Commander Anderson's new space program, Tony might eventually pilot a ship into space, to Mars, or to Earth's moon. When he could do it, they all could. All the training and skills needed to pilot the current era jet fighters and large bombers were applied to the Space Force teams. But it was hard to see how Tony would be much good in a battle, or fight, or combat. But the Pentagon's Black Ops space program was a new kind of battle, a battle for the mind. And for that much, as medical doctor and ship's pilot or ship's navigator, was the bottom line equal to them all. Despite his less than athletic physical body, Smith was a slender 5'7" tall, and not more than 180 pounds weight. Aliens are not ordinary, here on Earth, this is certain, Smith said. Or should I call it Urantia? Isn't that what they call us? Terra firma. Home. The world. Corso answered. Urantia is a religious term, I think. Isn't it? Well, yes. But God help us, Smith said. We have far more advanced techniques for memory recovery hypnosis today than at the time your mother was going through all that. I hope you understand, it's nothing personal. We first doubt bizarre claims and far-out events like alien abduction. Bit by bit we can rebuild events to get a picture of where and the when. Then it starts to make sense. It wasn't that long ago, Horst said. They didn't use the entrails of a cat or throw bones sanctified by burning sage. That was in the 1960s and 70s. It wasn't that long ago, Corsa said. They didn't use the entrails of a cat or throw bones sanctified by burning sage. That was in the 1960s and 70s. Ancient history. Just like last week, Smith mused silently. The sessions so far with Charles were experimental, to start. Corsa seemed out of place, seeming to be in perfect if not ideal health, a husky 47-year-old man. Fit and attractive, muscular and clean-cut. His Asian and Caucasian bloodline was perhaps only interesting to medical science or his girlfriends, of which he had a few. Why was Charles to be mind-probed in this way? He tugged at the surgical smock, beneath the hospital bed sheets. And 4 drip tube fed a clear fluid directly into a bulging mid-elbow vein just beneath his olive-brown skin, on his left arm. But he already knew the answer. And like many things demanded by his career in the Air Force and then the USSF, he didn't necessarily like it all very much. His feelings and opinion mattered not. Just another guinea pig. Dr. Smith had his charts and a computer to work with. A low-luminosity light and also a recording device were near the bed. Time flies, Smith said. Ancient history. They may as well have been drilling for devils or chasing ghosts. What we're doing here today is similar to your mother's treatment, 40 years ago. So it's similar but quite different. For one thing, instead of a regression into the past, we are going forward in time. So you could call it a hypnotic progression, or channeling. So your mind, which is what you experience, with this technique, you move into the future, projected from right here, 20 or 30 years ahead, or even more than that. Charles wanted to complain but he knew it would do no good. His years in the military and Air Force training had included hundreds if not thousands of medical procedures. And now here he was, a human experiment yet again. Besides, he was thinking, how can hypnosis discover anything about the future, when the future hasn't even happened yet? Smith could sense his doubt. Look, it's very simple, Corso, he said. The therapist works together with DNA pharmacy chemical engineers. An exact, very detailed projected future scenario is created for you. Charles lifted his arm. The intravenous drip tube had him feeling like a field of strawberries someone was watering. But it was not water. You mean this, Tony? Smith smiled. Nazapernilin, he said. Wait, what? Nazawilin? DNA pharmacy? Why? You were briefed about it 2 weeks ago, Corso. The DNA pharmacy profiles your body chemistry, at the cellular level. This includes the nerve bundles of the brain, and therefore everything about you, plus even things about yourself you are not aware of. Your education, your training, your parents and school, your physical memory of working out, your physical memory of operating jet fighter aircraft, your physical memory of sex. Everything about you, up to this point in time. So the fourth drip line you are using today is specific to you and you alone, in that sense. It's designed and created in the chemistry lab from blood and tissue samples, taken from your body. And it's also official, in other words, that is, you only get one take, so to speak. Like a DNA profile. But it includes your personal history, everything you've ever seen or heard in life, all your associates and friends. Everything you've ever seen or heard in life, all your associates and friends. Okay. But can we just erase that one bad memory? It was in high school, and this gal was coming on to me. I mean, she really was teasing me and sexy and all, and we ended up at the drive-in movie, okay? So, you know, she wasn't pregnant, and we loved each other and we both wanted it, but, well, you know, erase that one. No one is erasing your memories, Mr. Corso. Or should I say Colonel Corso? That will do, Lieutenant. Please be reminded, I have discretion here. Yes, sir, of course, Smith said. His highest rank was Lieutenant Colonel, and that was a formality. But by then, Charles Lincoln had been advanced. So by protocol, Corso was in charge. And he had the briefing like they all had. But in a way it was similar to scourging his soul with hot burning oil or something. The channel opens, from within. To control its course, is not something like pushing a button. Raw emotions. Rare insights free of fear, but not free of pain. Fixed truth of inevitable disaster without remedy, suddenly in the past. A transport no one would deny, yet blocked or corrupted by agedness. The age of atoms themselves, the age of stars, the age of air. In charge of all that? So tell me, love, are you really in charge? Smith was almost ready. We'll be sleeping for a while, sir. The necessary trance is induced via both external and internal stimulus. The process takes about 30 minutes, and is confirmed via a series of simple tests. What is the mission?
Who am I? Why am I here? Where are we going?
Supplying a moon base by interplanet transport ship. And this will take place in 8 years. And 8 hours. And 8 days. And 8 minutes. And 8 seconds. Roughly. Approximately.
Who am I? Why am I here? Where are we going? Who am I? Why am I here? Where are we going? Who am I? Why am I here? Where are we going?
Think of it as poetic, sir. The NASA Brazilian also predicts your actions, behaviors, spoken words, friendships, devotions, and struggles, and all your information is programmed as a projected circumstance. Then it's not real, Corso said. Well, having studied this for a few years at the Institute, I think what you'll find is that the answer to that question depends on you. Sort of a choice, I guess you'd say. There is an ethical component. So in a sense you will always be in total control, because of this here. Smith tapped his hand on a sleek-looking digital recording device and playback. The unit was seated on the table next to an oxygen machine and other monitors. Tascom, Smith said. I fully endorse this brand. It's an archive recorder on digital. As we move through the hypnosis.
We got it if you want it, people never give it up, dance until your feet get hot. We got it if you want it, people never give it up, dance until the music stops. We got it if you want it, people never give it up, dance until your feet get sore. We got it if you want it, people never give it up, DJ please give them one more. We play the music for the people all around, getting high with our feet on the ground. We keep it moving and there ain't no stopping now. So my DJ just turn it right now. Come on, get up. For real. Come on, get up. For real. Come on, get up. For real. Get up. For real. Come on.
I fully endorse this brand. It's an archive recorder on digital. As we move through the hypnosis session, I will ask you questions to guide you into the experience. Your answers will be archived and reviewed by the US Air Force. But, yeah, the Tascom brand sure can. Man, it's true of you, and true me too, so don't feel so blue, not on my crew. Charles fidgeted and hummed. Just get on with it.
I give my rhyme on dust, guaranteed to make it right if your night is a bust. You vibrant and you fresh and all original to say.
Then he slipped into a dream, or so he thought. Or so it seemed. He was with another former US Navy pilot he was friends with, and had known for some time. They found a little cafe diner at the foot of Mount Shasta to meet and discuss the classified secret files. Charlie was eager, on the phone with Major General Luong, knowing that they are meeting soon to be briefed about the new missions. Before then, Charlie Corso was only running low-profile missions and flying cargo planes out of Hong Kong.
A thug will grill you with meanness of eyes. I wanna feel you them big ass thighs. Your Prada dress or your Gucci bag, whether polo jeans or a doobie bag. You hold the door, alright? We coming through, try deep, hold it down for the night. Big Moo got the fit, he got the Willie, and girl you got the gift. Turn it over the page, usher in all of y'all to a brand new age where status really don't matter. Everybody get right to the pivot battle. Come on, make a move, setting precedents, integrate the residents, the whole scene is decadence.
That was how the two men met, routine stuff, earning their wings by putting in the hours, in flight. So news that he made the team on Jack Killer was very exciting to say the least. I must have flew about 500 sorties and various conflicts, the major said. Maybe that's why now I'm supposedly in charge of the Jack Killer team. I was born after the Vietnam War ended in 1975 and followed my father to join the US military. Charles could now recall, the meeting was real. He remembered because the cafe had an excellent blue cheese salad, with crayons, bacon strips, real blue cheese, and very nice lettuce. "But Tom," he said. "Tom, you can't just..." Tom had a huge bowl of soup on the stained oak table between them. The Reading and Shasta area was somehow unique to the world at large, almost like a Japanese prayer garden, sacred, undefiled, quietly mountainous, cold, wooded and wild. "So okay, he said. I was recruited into the Black Ops programs, then later joined by choice, with the US space program." Charles picked at the red cranberries with a fork. "But Tom," he said. "Tom, you can't just..." "Charles Lincoln Corso, you need to take a deep breath, that bottle is marked paranoia, read the label," he joked with Charles. But not lightly. "No Tom, listen," Corso said. "If you're going to be included, as the team leader, wouldn't it make sense not to use your real name? What does it mean? Classified? Classified ads in the back of a superhero comic book? I don't even want to discuss this with you. Understand? Take it easy, fly boy. Look, this is the insider deal, take it or leave it. Because you're a friend, okay? Just take it or leave it." A few years ago, an unusual person was recruited by the government. This person was unusual for being an alien being from another star system. Not Earth. Not our star. Not from Earth. This same person is supposed to explain the circumstances of how humans came to be on Earth. "Oh Tom, you can just..." His name is Val Valiant Thor. He speaks many different languages fluently and has an IQ that is off the charts. Val Valiant Thor claims via secret code that he is a being from the planet Venus and that the inhabitants of the planet cannot be realized or seen with the human eye in the visual spectrum. But, Major Luong, please, just hold off. For one thing, you can just... Tom was finishing his soup, which was a raw chicken egg and California rice soup, with chicken tenders, sprouts and carrots. The cafe was nearly empty. It was about the year 1998 by then. The inhabitants on Venus exist in a higher vibration, he told Charles, in the goofy dream Charles was having under hypnosis. They live peacefully just like humans do on this planet, Earth, Colonel Corso. Val claims that he works closely with a gray alien named Maybe Number 3 or J-Rod. But Major Tom, you can't possibly believe all that. None of that is real, do you think? Or is it just scary? Tom slurped his hot soup loudly. No, of course not. What? Do you think I'm stupid? Maybe it was the bodies they found that seemed convincing. Corso had no more friends. Bodies? He asked shortly. They found bodies? I get assignments handed down from the 4-star general, who you've already met. James Anderson. I get the job done, Corso, and I get it done right. Every time. So maybe that's why I'm your new boss. So okay, Tom. But, so what? Who cares? Is that really important since no one seems to have any proof? All you have to work with is fear. The concern here is that Val Valiant Thor, an off-world person, may have became friendly to General Anderson and even become very influential on mission designs for the Jack Killer Team's
Why am I
mission.
here? Where are we going? Why am I here? Where are we going?
Major General Luong, a true soldier's soldier and rules and regulations fanatic, had brought with him a total of 4 packets in yellow plain letter envelopes. Corso could see, as they finished their meal, each one was for a separate mission. Mission number 1 goes to the local moon, to resupply a base. Mission number 2 goes to Venus. Mission number 3 goes to Mars. Mission number 4 goes to Jupiter. Corso looked over the 4 packets. "So be clear with me, sir," he said. "These are from the Pentagon? Or did you print them up yourself on your Epson dot matrix?" The assignment letters were given to me by General Anderson, but all were hand-signed by guess who. Val Valiant Thor. The team would have to perform all the requirements of the assignments that were outlined and approve it by an alien, who no one has even met in person. I have solid reason to believe some information may not be accurate. Let me guess. Colonel Corso quit. He wants a meeting? It's not like you think, Corso. It's not a monster or a freak. Val wanted to meet with the mission pilots to go over some details and brief you. Yes, you Charlie. Because when the ships actually launch, you will be the team's pilot in command, Major Charles Corso. Colonel Charles corrected him. "So you say, Charlie? So you say. The mission to Venus is a mess, dude. It's a waste of time to go there, to see with our own eyes that there are civilized inhabitants. They all know that there is no possibility of any human to live in 900 atmospheres and scorching high temperatures. By then they had finished eating and took leave of the small cafe. Corso was puzzled. Am I advanced now to the rank of major? Or still a colonel? Which is it? How can anyone know it all? And if they knew it all, wouldn't knowing it all destroy them mentally? And what happened to Dr. Anthony Smith, and the hypnotic progression forward in time to the moon mission 8 years in the future? Where am I? Is this all a dream?
Who am I? Why am I here? Where are we going? Who am I? Why am I here? Where are we going?
Smith was almost ready. "We'll be sleeping for a while, sir. We'll be sleeping for a while, sir.